So we are almost 10 days into February already, and we still do not have the 2022 roadmap for Marvel's Avengers. Now, what is actually going on behind the scenes? What's even going to be on this roadmap? And I guess the big question is that I do want you guys to answer me in the comments below is, do you feel like you are affected by not having the 2022 roadmap yet for this game? And when I say affected, I mean in a sense of, do you genuinely feel like you don't have any hope in this game left? Or, I mean, just tell me how you feel. Let me know in the comment section below, because one thing we do know what these guys are doing, which they did announce as well, is something really cool when it comes down to the costumes. Now, we're going to be breaking that stuff down a little bit more, but before I do, I got a really cool sponsor for today's video, so let's roll the ad and then we'll continue into it. So today's video is sponsored by none other than the almighty Raid Shadow Legends. Now honestly, it should probably be the only mobile game around, because trust me, once you download it, you won't need another mobile game ever again. Now I just want to talk about one of my personal favourite bosses real quick, who is Sir Galarov, Guardian of the Arcane Keep. Now, unlike most of the other Potion Keep bosses, this dude is actually a pretty nice guy. Now, sort of like a paladin, he's tasked with protecting arcane knowledge, so only the worthy can use it. Literally though, he is guarding arcane potions, and he's checking to see if you are worthy of getting your hands on them. Now, of course, to do that, you've got to beat him up. Now, it sounds straightforward, right? But he could definitely be tricky if you're not ready. Now, he's one of the more straightforward boss battles in Raid overall, but his main mechanic is basically his basic attack. Now, it deals a ton of extra damage to any champion without buffs. So your mission is to keep AoE buffs on your team at any cost. Now, of course, that seems easy, but it's complicated by the boss's left minion. Now, he will basically strip all of your team's buff every time he gets a turn, so don't let that happen. Take that sucker out first, or use control debuffs to keep it out of the fight. Now, as for the rest of it, as long as you can keep buffs on your team, the boss shouldn't really be too tough. Just bring a balanced team and buff your way through victory. Now, Raid's got a ton happening this month, with a fresh rotation of the brutal Hydra boss and a ton of events and tournaments every single day, including some special Valentine's Day events where you can get your hands on a brand new legendary champion. And this honestly is the best time to get started in Raid, and if you click my link in the description or scan the QR code that you see on screen, you'll get a pretty cool bonus. Now, we're talking a free epic champion, Vergis, 200k silver, 1 energy refill and 1 XP boost and 1 ancient shard, so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in game. And all of this treasure will be waiting for you as well. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below and download Raid Shadow Legends, and I'll see you in the game. Okay, so before we get onto the subject in regards to the roadmap, let's actually talk about what they announced last week. So last week they done an announcement on Twitter, which as you can see on screen says, "What are you waiting for? Earn the Marvel Studios Iron Man 3 outfit along with the Glacial outfit set shipments." Or set in shipments from February 3rd to March 3rd. So basically what you need to do is claim 100 shipments before the 3rd of March, and it will basically guarantee you Iron Man's outfit. Now, this is really interesting, right? Because one thing that a lot of people, including myself, were really against is the fact that, you know, the prices for suits are, I mean, they've always been insane. It's never going to change, right? And I've always banged on about the idea, especially as well, saying I would love for it to actually be a feature where we could do something a bit more exciting, so to say, where we can get the good suits, right? Rather than just random suits through the challenge cards, for example. So it seems like there's one or two ways that they're trialing this idea, right? So the first way is they just simply know there's probably not a lot of players anyway. I mean, there's definitely not going to be a lot of players, hardly considering how many bugs there are still in the game. So is this A, just simply a way to get people back into the game, to kind of become active in the game? Or B, is it simply just a way to actually show that, hey, we want to make changes and let's see if you guys like this idea, and if so, then we'll kind of continue moving forward with the idea as a whole. Now, the downside to option B, of course, is the fact that we know the game, I mean, it heavily relies on the marketplace, right? If there was no marketplace and no microtransactions, then there would be no way this game can get funded. It just wouldn't make sense financially, from a business perspective, you name it. So I'm kind of thinking they're going down the first route, which is option A, like I said, where it's almost an attempt to get players back into the game. And I mean, look, it's always going to be one of these weird things with the community, right? A lot of people are still sitting on the edge with the game. I, myself, you guys know very well, or you should do by now anyway, that I am pretty much just stuck in the middle now. So I am just literally still, I guess, spectating when it comes down to the game in terms of what's going on behind the scenes. And I still play it from time to time, but I'm still just a fan hoping that somehow this is going to be turned around. But, like I said at the start of the video, we are now very close to the 10th of February, and we still don't even have a roadmap for this game. Now, it's interesting because even though we don't have the 2022 roadmap for this game, we already know one of the DLC characters that will be released this year will be She-Hulk, right? That was confirmed like a month or two ago from Miller, and then the actual voice actor of She-Hulk actually quoted that tweet. It was basically confirmation, right? There's no other way you can take that tweet other than literal confirmation, right? So we know that that's going to be one character, but then there's the other sort of element where it's like, okay, well, we have She-Hulk, we have Bucky Barnes. I mean, what other characters are we talking right now? There's a long list. We're talking War Machine as well, right? There's a really extensive list that could potentially be on a roadmap for this year. But look, we've gone past these really anticipated characters, like we've gone past Black Panther. That was still, a win in my book. I enjoyed that DLC. I didn't really have anything bad to say about it, in all honesty. Spider-Man's DLC, pretty much the same thing. Of course, I guess the community was very much 50-50 on that again. I was very much on the side, well, hey, just drop the DLC, we don't care about the story. And then we all realised, holy crap, maybe we do need a story, otherwise it feels weird and it feels boring. That's the Spider-Man situation. And then like every DLC character released before then was kind of okay. Hawkeye, sure, he's up there, but you get where I'm going with this. So now that we're in February, it seems like it's the communication that's still that issue. And it's so hard to just basically sit there and watch what's going on, because I'm sure I mentioned this in my last video, right, where they of course went ahead and released the MCU skin for Spider-Man, which was great, but we still come down to that very basic factor on, okay, well, is there really a way this game can revive itself? And it almost feels like I'm a broken record just basically saying this over and over again, because I don't feel like it comes down to us as a community anymore. Like, it literally doesn't. We are way apart from this at this moment in time, in my opinion. And it really begs me to like ask that question on, okay, well, why hasn't the plug been pulled on this game yet? I mean, do they have a certain budget that gets allocated where it might be like, okay, well, here's, I don't know, the first 2 or 3 quarters of 2022, here's a budget. If it doesn't basically pull in X amount, then we basically pull the plug. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes in that element. If you do know, please share your insights in the comment section below. I'm sure we would all appreciate that. But I think we're in this really weird predicament here, where they're still trialing things that gain the community's trust. Because look, let's be honest, that tweet that got posted for Iron Man's skin, right? Sure, it got like 3,700 likes, and I know you don't always have to look at likes and all that kind of stuff, but then you kind of do it at the same time, because it shows engagement from the community. Like, it literally will show you what people actually like the idea of versus what they don't like the idea of. So when you see like one tweet do phenomenally better than the other one, then hey, that's a pretty good indicator that people actually still, till this day, do care about the skins in this game. And that's always kind of either a good or a bad sign. But it seems like they're doing well when it comes down to actually showcasing those skins. So I think we all know that, look, a community in any game, right? Well, in any genre, should we say, you're always going to have like one side of the community that are very supportive, and then the other side of the community that are just straight toxic, right? And if you go to their comments, that's basically what you see literally live. You just see a bunch of negative comments, but then you take a look at the likes and you're like, okay, well, for example, 7,000 people liked this, so clearly that's a really good indicator that, you know, this is something that people enjoy. And at that point, it literally does become a no-brainer, because if you was developing skins for this game or whatever, that would show you that you have an active, you know, community engaged. So I don't know, it's so weird, because like, if I boot up the game now, and let's say I haven't played it in the last couple of weeks, like, there wouldn't be anything that feels different to me. And the game still has a bunch of bugs, and I'm not even moaning. I'm genuinely not, because I still do enjoy the game when I play at least now, right? But it's just that situation where, like, I'm very curious now to see, well, okay, which direction are they going to take? Well, literally, not just the direction are they going to take the game in, but when are they going to start getting more active in terms of the community again and actually keeping people in the loop on, i.e., here's a 2022 roadmap, here's how we want to make the situation that we're in right now, which, granted, respectfully, is very crappy, to how we're going to go from that situation to just being, you know, at least slightly better in the next 6 months. I mean, like, that would be something that would be, you know, more realistic and something that you would expect to see on a roadmap. See, my theory is they're just going to show a 2022 roadmap and something that's going to come, I don't know, it may be April or May, and then the rest of it would just be blanked out. That's what I think we'll see anyway. You guys leave your thoughts on this in the comment section below. Regardless, I just wanted to share my thoughts on this anyway, because it's always going to be weird with this game. It's always going to feel like, you have it right at the tip of your fingertips, and then somehow they just figure out a way to kind of make it go south. But you guys leave your thoughts on this in the comments below. And hey, don't forget to download Raid Shadow Legends, by the way. Trust me, that is a game you do not want to miss out on your mobile device. So, as I said, check that link in the description below. But guys, I'll see you in the next one. Till then, have yourselves a ridiculously amazing day, and adios amigos.